In 2001, Major League Baseball decided two teams had to be deleted. The Minnesota Twins and Montreal Expos were marked for extinction. 30 owners voted to eliminate them forever.
It's easy to forget here and now that just about 20-something years ago, Major League Baseball was in a far different situation. They almost contracted by two teams.
But somehow, against impossible odds, they found a way to survive. This is the story of how September 11th accidentally gave two dying teams just enough time to cheat extinction. We're not talking about relocation. We're talking about extinction, complete elimination, players scattered to other teams, decades of history erased, two entire cities losing their identity. For Minnesota and Montreal, this wasn't just about baseball. This was about survival. And MLB's plan was simple: buy them out for $250 million each, then make them disappear forever. By 2001, MLB had a problem. Small market teams were hemorrhaging money. The Minnesota Twins, playing in the ancient Metrodome, were losing millions every year. The Montreal Expos were worse, playing in a cavernous Olympic stadium, drawing crowds so small you could hear individual conversations from the cheap seats. Commissioner Bud Selig had a radical solution: contraction. Destroy the weakest teams to make the rest stronger. It had never been done in modern baseball, but desperate times called for desperate measures. The plan was set. September 13th through the 15th, 2001, MLB owners would meet in secret to vote on which teams would die. The Twins and Expos were the obvious targets. But then September 11th changed everything, and in the chaos that followed, two dying teams found their lifeline. September 11th, 2001, as America reeled from the attacks, baseball stopped.
It has been a plane crash on the southern tip of Manhattan. You're looking at the World Trade Center. We understand that a plane has crashed into the World Trade Center.
Games canceled, meetings postponed, including the secret meeting that would have erased two franchises. Those postponed meetings gave the Twins and Expos something they desperately needed: time. Time to organize, time to fight back, time to find allies. In Minnesota, lawyers were already preparing. The Twins' lease with the Metrodome required them to play through 2003. If MLB wanted to delete them, they had to break a legal contract. The players' union saw an opportunity. If MLB could eliminate teams at will, every player's job was at risk. They prepared for war. November 6, 2001, 2 months after 9/11, the owners finally met. 30 men walked into a room to decide which teams would live or die. The vote was brutal. 28 owners voted yes, only 2 voted no. The Twins and the Expos literally voting against their own execution.
Major League Baseball owners, they actually voted 28-2 to eliminate two teams for the 2002 season.
It was official. Contraction was approved. The Twins and Expos had been sentenced to death. But the execution wouldn't be immediate. And that delay, caused by 9/11, gave both teams the opening they needed to fight for their lives. What happened next was the most desperate survival fight in sports history. December 2001. Hennepin County Judge Harry Seymour Crump's preliminary injunction delivered the first blow to MLB's execution plan. The Twins must honor their stadium lease and play the 2002 season. Contraction was delayed. The players' union struck next. They refused to negotiate a new collective bargaining agreement unless contraction was banned. MLB needed that agreement more than they needed two dead teams. August 2002, the new CBA was signed with a poison pill for contraction. It was banned until 2006, but by then, everything had changed. The Twins, given a reprieve, made the most of it. They reached the playoffs in 2002, proving they weren't dead weight. They were survivors. The Minnesota Twins didn't just survive, they thrived. A new stadium deal, playoff appearances, and a fan base that never forgot how close they came to losing everything.
The Twins, as you know, were saved.
The Montreal Expos weren't as lucky. They survived contraction, but couldn't survive economics.
It was still the end of the Expos. Jeffrey Loria sells the Expos to Major League Baseball for $120 million.
In 2004, they became the Washington Nationals. Relocated, not eliminated. Today, the Twins are worth over $1 billion. The team MLB wanted to kill for being worthless is now one of baseball's success stories. September 11th changed America forever, but for two baseball teams facing extinction, those tragic events accidentally provided the time they needed to fight back and survive. The next time you watch the Twins or Nationals play, remember, you're watching teams that were supposed to be dead. Teams that survived because tragedy gave them just enough time to prove they deserve to live. If you want more incredible survival stories from baseball, hit that subscribe button, because sometimes the best stories are about the ones who refuse to die.